He's making hand signals back there. I feel like I'm on an airplane about to land. So let's land this baby. I'm Leilani, and welcome to my patio at the Avocado Ranch. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Leilani Drinks the Brown Stuff. Tonight, I am wearing my girl Christina Walsh's original gallery on clothes, vegan fabric outfit. And I love it. So let's get on with it, because again, I found another find another find at my local grocery outlet. And they didn't have the price tag on it, but it was in a canister, so it was kind of fancy. So I just grabbed it, hoping that it was like, you know, maybe $25. So tonight we are getting into the Tweeddale Grain of Truth single grain Scotch whiskey. Now, when I got up to the register, it was $35. I'm not sending it back because it's a whiskey and it's fancy and it's in a canister, even though I was trying to spend a little less that day. I said, you know what? Let's do this. So let's do this. It is non-chill filtered, and also states that it is caramel free. And why that's a big deal is because if you've been watching me and you've watched some of my old past episodes on a lot of the European whiskeys, they are able to add caramel regardless of how expensive you might think the whiskey is, how cheap you might think the whiskey is. They can add caramel at any time and not say a damn word. They don't have to write it out. So a lot of these whiskeys have been getting away with just adding caramel to their whiskeys, and you not knowing, thinking that because you spent so much money that there's no additives, but there are sometimes. So it's super cool to finally get a European whiskey that basically states caramel free. It is 46% ABV, and we know that most European whiskeys do not put the proof. So with it being 46% ABV, what do? Double it, 92, yo. So it's 92 proof, 50% wheat, 50% barley, and they end up distilling, maturing, bottling it all in Scotland under one distillery on this, which is usually not heard of with a lot of Scottish whiskeys. One distillery in bourbon barrels, and then finished off in Oloroso sherry casks for 9 months. Now, if you remember in my last couple of episodes of Wicklow Hills, they finished it off for 3 months. So I'm going to try to figure out if my tasty buds end up picking up anything else from this 9-month finish of these sherry casks. Now, they do state that they are established in 1820. And it's super cool that they do this. And you may be asking me, why? Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of whiskey love. And you're like, how is that whiskey love? Because brothers J and A Davidson, John and Andrew, respectively, they ran a licensed kind of like grocer shop in Coldstream, and they were able to distill spirits and sell wines, and they also ended up being brewers. But that is when Tweeddale was born. And you're like, wait a second, but I've heard of other names and it ends with Day. Gotcha there. Alistair Day's great grandfather, Robert Day, ends up going to work for J&A Davidson in 1865. And so this whiskey was born and made and brewed before Robert Day came. And Robert Day ended up writing notes, putting down the recipes, all in what he called his cellar book. Now, in 1923, Robert Day ends up buying out J&A Davidson and calls it Robert Day. He ends up closing up shop eventually and retiring, and this was prior to the decline of the market and before World War II. Then Alistair Day ends up inheriting this cellar book, this book of recipes, and starts playing around with all of the information he's given, starts making his own creations. Thus, on May 2010, the first batch of Tweeddale was born for all of us to try. So let's get into it, because that's what I'm excited about today. Pop this top and feel so fancy. I'm a fancy girl. All right. Let's open it up. There's a little pull tab, which I like. All right. I'm trying to see if there was any other information. It does say bottle 1362. Oh my God. That creeped me out for a second. Someone's looking at me. And he's in the bottle. Can you see that? Oh my goodness. It's so freaky because he kind of comes and goes. It's kind of like a Mona Lisa. No, the eyeballs don't travel with it. I'm wondering if that is Robert Day, but they didn't put any writings on it. But I want to say it's probably Robert Day, his great-grandfather, who ended up doing the whole cellar book. All right, let's get this. Oh, yes, to that pop. A little bit more freshness, like orange and a hint of grapefruit. But there's something perfumey about it, which is interesting. There's a floral, hint of vanilla, a little bit of caramel.
But there's no caramel in it.
No, there's no caramel, but you get the caramel from the bourbon barrels when they get burnt. Let's see. Smells like wind, I almost want to say. Woman's pour, oh, woman's pour. Trying to do just a little less of a woman's pour.
Not achieving.
It's not? No. I feel like I did good. It's not all the way to the top. Come on, man. It's a little darker than the yellow. It has a tinge of brownness to it. It smells like the air and rain. It's so clean in certain ways. Cantaloupes, apples, and maybe like a cherry. I feel like there's a little bit of a cherry in there, just floating around. A little bit woodsy, not as much as I would like for it to smell, but that wind and rain, that's usually what I end up smelling in a lot of these European whiskeys, which is always nice because we get dirt and grime and earth and woods here, and over there I just feel like most of their stuff is like wind and rain. Get all the natures in the whiskey. So let's get to it. Oh, ooh la la, and welcome to my mouth. Because that was nice. I felt a little bit of caramel right in the center, with the vanilla finish in the back end, almost as if it went into like a butterscotch as it flowed to the back of my throat. There's a little bit of heat on it, but it's very smooth, very nice. It's almost like, I want to say cotton candy in the mouth. It evaporates like cotton candy because it's just kind of smooth and just kind of there, and then all of a sudden it feels like it goes nowhere. Where does it go? In my belly. That's where it went. And it tastes so divine. But it does taste like, you can taste like it's almost like a butterscotch toffee kind of feel as it hits the back. There's a burntness that I'm tasting. And it's not like peat, it's almost like a smoke. You feel like a smoke that's surrounding everything and then kind of dissipates where you get the taste, which is really fun. You can taste the slight bit of sweetness, but it's not so much where I'm like, oh, okay, I don't like sweet whiskeys, but this is really kind of gives you the hint of being on the sugary end and playing and being like, hey, I'm right here, but you're not getting too much of it, which is wonderful. But I really like the smoky taste. It is so smooth and buttery and cotton candy on the mouth. You get that kind of almost burnt caramel with it, although it says, again, caramel free. So that's nice. I'm really enjoying this whiskey, y'all. I wasn't expecting it, but I feel like, let me. It's that smoke, I think, that I'm really enjoying. And it's not harsh smoke. It's not peaty. It's not mossy. It is just like a smoke that surrounds it that already has that kind of layer without having to add the smoke, which people are doing to their whiskeys now. All right. Oh, this is really surprising on this $35 find at the grocery outlet. For 35 bucks, I mean, damn. Leilani Drinks the Brown Stuff has to give the Tweeddale Grain of Truth single grain Scotch whiskey 4.5 kisses. Because, damn it, it is smoking. And who doesn't want an extra guest when they don't have one to say cheers to? So cheers, Tweeddale.